Hello, alright guys, so I made these Euro R decals for my Honda Accord Euro R, posted it up on Facebook and Instagram, and I had a fair bit of interest. A couple of people want me to send them out to them, make some for them, so I thought I'd do a quick little tutorial video of how, like, the easiest way to apply these, where they're a two colour design. They come in two parts. So this method is actually probably the best method to apply any vinyl decals if you've not had experience in applying this type of sticker before. Basically the sticker comes in three parts. You've got the backing material, which is what the vinyl was on a roll before it was cut, and then in between you've got the vinyl itself, and then over the top you've got an application tape, which is what I apply after. Which the vinyl then sticks to, and you can pull away the backing and apply the vinyl to your car. I've already done mine on my car. I didn't really think I'd get as much interest, so to save me sticking more decals to my car and having to take them off, I'm just going to use my dining room window for this one. It doesn't really matter, it's the same method. When you're sticking them on your car, just make sure the surface area is clean. They do advise the vinyl suppliers that you don't apply it to a vehicle straight after washing it, because the residue from shampoos or polishes can like be a detrimental effect to the life of the vinyl, how long it'll stay on. If I'm honest with you, I washed my car, rinsed it down with cold water afterwards, made sure it was dry and applied them. But if I'm doing commercial jobs, I'll usually use methylated spirit, or funnily enough vodka does the same trick, in a little spray bottle. Give it a few sprays, give it a wipe down, make sure it's dry, and apply after, and you'll make sure all residue is off the vehicle then. I've not done that to my dining room window, but again, if you want to do this properly, make sure it's clean and dry, and then follow these steps. You're going to need your vinyls, which I've sent out to you, or I'm going to be sending out this week to the 5 or 6 people that have asked for them. Masking tape, most important thing, and then a credit card. I'm going to use my Shell Drivers Club card, but a credit card, Tesco points card, whatever you want, just something to be used as a squeegee to squeegee out any bubbles as we're applying it. So the first thing you're going to want to do, which I will do now, is get a little square of masking tape and just put a little tiny tab of masking tape on the top of, I'm going to do the Accord Euro section first, the larger part. Bit of masking tape on the top 2 corners like this, as you can see. That's purely so I can tack it on, move it around, make sure I'm happy with the positioning. Once I'm happy, then we'll carry on with the application. So first off, imagining this was your vehicle, and just tab it on and do your best to get it straight the first time, saves you moving it around. I think I did mine about an inch from the bottom seam on the back door, and about an inch from the edge of the back door in the rear quarter. Stick these wherever you like, windows, rear quarter I think is the traditional place that most Type Rs have their graphics, so that's what I designed them for, but it's up to you really. But once you've made sure it's straight, I mean, I've stuck that on first time and I'm quite happy with that straight on my window at this stage. So you want to create a hinge at the top, and the way we do this using a masking tape, so I can tear a bit off without it ripping. I'm going to get a couple of strips of masking tape that are about the length of the graphic, so bear with me. What we want to do is we want to keep layering these up, a few layers, just to make sure. The last thing we want is when I take the backing material off, that for this to move or fall off, and then I have to basically then do it freehand. I want to make sure this is measured up and it's not going anywhere before I take that backing tape off. So just a few strips on there. Make sure it's all stuck down. You can put another strip along here if you want, but I've got 2.5 there, so we'll stick with that. And what that's doing is that's creating a little hinge there for you to then remove the backing tape, apply the vinyl, and I'm satisfied that isn't going to go anywhere whilst I'm doing that. Where this is a two colour design, you can either apply the first colour, you can apply the Accord Euro part, and then remove it all and then do the second part. I'm going to do it all, I did it on mine all at the same time, just less waiting around. So basically, again, if you want to use rulers, spirit levels to make sure this is all lined up, that's fine. I'm going to just do this by eye. I did it pretty much by eye on my car as well. If you've done this before, they're only small graphics. If you're doing larger graphics, it's a lot more important to get the spirit level out, but for the smaller ones, you can trust your eyesight. So once again, I'm just putting on a tab of masking tape either side. I think I did this, about 8mm away from the Accord Euro section. So again, using your eye or using your spirit level and your ruler, make sure that's lined up and straight and you're happy with it. Tack it down at the top using your bits of masking tape. And at this stage you can take a step back, get your mate to have a look, make sure you're both happy that both parts of the logo are straight and in the right place. Once you're happy with that, I'm going to do exactly the same for the R as I've done for the Accord Euro section. And that's a few strips of masking tape across the top to create a hinge. Try not to use cheap masking tape for this because it gets disappointing when you go to apply the vinyl when it all unsticks and you're stuck with two graphics that you haven't applied to your car and you've got one chance to do it then. So decent masking tape will just make sure that it does stay stuck whilst you're doing it. I'm going to put another strip lower down on this one because it's only just catching the top of the vinyl, so I'm going to put one here as well. But as you can see, I'm happy with where the two different sections of the decal are sitting. Both have got a hinge on them, they are not going anywhere. Time to pull the backing off and apply these to the vehicle or window in my case. So I'll start with the Accord Euro, the larger part. Just lift that up, and I'll do it from your angle. You want to pull away the thicker material and basically leave the graphic on the application tape at the front. Sometimes you will find that letters will try and stick to the backing material. Just make sure that if they do, you push it back on, give it a rub and peel it away, and that you're not pulling away any of the graphics, because again, if you do that, it's going to be very difficult to get them back on the backing tape or even apply them separately. So make sure it all sticks to the backing tape when you do this the first time. Pull that away and make sure your decal doesn't drop down and stick without you using your squeegee. What we're going to do is going to pull this fairly tightly, starting at the top with your Shell driver's card or your Tesco Club card or your credit card, or if you've got an actual squeegee for applying vinyl, which I do but I can't find it, then start at the top, pushing down fairly hard and all the way to the bottom, and then from the middle out. Make sure you're always going towards the edges, because the idea is that we want to get all the bubbles and all the air out of the graphic. We don't want any bubbles in there. So, and then same again for the art. This one's a lot easier because we've only got one piece of vinyl in there, a solid piece. So put away the backing tape, put it down fairly tightly, starting at the top, all the way down, and then squeegee out the air. What I usually do at this stage is just grab one of the bits of the backing tape I just pulled off, because it's nice and smooth, and give it a good rub over, making sure that every area is stuck down. Again on the R. Now the guidelines again for this vinyl, they normally say leave it 10-20 minutes just to bond whilst what I did, I think I went round to the other side of the car, masked up that side. By the time I'd finished doing this on the other side, I went round and removed the application tape from the first ones I did. For the purposes of this exercise, I'm not going to give it 10 minutes. It will stick to the window and it will stick to your car without leaving it 10 minutes, but it's just what they advise you do. So we'll take these off straight away. So I'll start off by trying to get some of this masking tape off, because it's just going to get in the way otherwise. So the hinge we created earlier, let's get rid of all of that. And just leave ourselves with the backing tape that came with the decals. And then the knack to this is you just want to get it from one of the corners, and the important bit is that you're not pulling it towards you, but you're pulling it along the length of the vehicle, or in this case the window. So I want to sort of pull it the opposite direction that I'm grabbing it from. So if you see what I'm doing, I hold my hand as close to the window as possible, and just slide the vinyl, and that way we're not gonna, if any of them letters are loose, we're not gonna pull them off. Let me do the same again with the red section. And there you have it. Again, I'll probably grab a piece of the backing tape again and just give it a good rub over. If there's any bubbles in there, I mean at this stage, and now on a small decal like this you shouldn't really get any, but if there are, most smaller bubbles will disperse in 24 to 48 hours. The vinyl shrinks slightly when, like, throughout the following 48 hours, and most of them bubbles will go. If you get any big ones stuck in there, particularly maybe on the R section where you've got a larger area to get some bubbles trapped, if after 48 hours they haven't gone, get a tiny pin, give it a little pin prick, and then just push the air out of the pin prick, and you won't be able to see the where you gave it a prick, but you shouldn't have that problem anyway. But yeah, repeat the process for the other side. I've had a couple of requests for not Accord Euro R vinyls, but I've got an SIRT vinyl to trace off. If there's any other logos, decals, graphics that you're interested in, just drop me a message. My Instagram's @SQEY, which is SKEWY. You can also see how these look on my Accord Euro R on my Instagram. Enjoy, get in touch. Cheers.